So welcome everybody. We do want to thank you for taking the time, the students and the professors both, to join us tonight, especially during reading week. I know everyone else probably had different plans, whether that be studying or sleeping or catching up on marking. So we do appreciate you taking the time with us. We think because it'll be a bit more of a casual setting, it'll be a good time to kind of spend time and get to know each other for the students and also to get to kind of pick the brains of some of the professors in DPES, especially with program selection coming up. This might be a good time to kind of have any of those like answer questions you want answered. And another reminder for anyone that hasn't done so already, just to change your names to your program of interest. This is just for the breakout rooms at the end, where we will be dividing you up by department, just to make it easier for us to know where we should put you into. So the selections are biology and environmental science, chemistry, or physics. So there'll be three breakout rooms. So whichever of those three that you are most closely, I guess, interested in, just please add that to your name under the participants tab. I guess we should also start by just introducing ourselves. So today is the Q&A games night. Your dearest first year representatives are us. I don't know where we are in this gallery, but I am Marcelina. I am thinking of taking environmental science and maybe biochem or environmental science specialist. I am a little undecided slash have a lot of stuff I've been looking into. Um, and I really enjoy woodworking. That is probably like my guilty pleasure procrastinating thing I'll be doing is like love the smell of wood. I will walk around Home Depot whenever that becomes okay to do so again. That is my happy place. And Kanisha is also another one of our representatives today.
Hi everyone, my name is Kanisha. I'm a first year rep. I am a confused first year like most of you. So I am planning on doing a major in chemistry. I'm still thinking of what I want to maybe double minor in or do another major in. And I'm really excited to meet all of you guys. And I hope this is a good time for you guys to just kind of chill and realize that we're all in this together. And uni is scary, but at least know that there's a bunch of other people that are scared right beside you. And a fun fact about me is I really like puzzles. I know I just mentioned that, and that makes me feel like I'm obsessed with puzzles, but I really don't know what else to say. And yeah, I also um, I like talking to people. I like writing on whiteboards. I have a calendar, and that's like a whiteboard, and I always like drawing fun designs on it and stuff. I guess like a way that I procrastinate is by like just over organizing myself. So like to distract me from the actual schoolwork, I'll be organizing how I'm gonna do the schoolwork. And yeah, I'm really excited to meet all of you. And also one of our other first year representatives is Patricia.
Hi everyone, so I'm Patricia, an international student of first year, and I'm also one of EPSA's first year rep for this academic year. I am thinking of hopefully specializing in biological chemistry co-op, but again, it's still all up in the air. So I'm currently living on rest, so that's really exciting. I did have the chance to kind of explore a little bit. I got lost on my way to the library. I know, embarrassing. Little fun fact about me is that I love graphic design. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna introduce the professors. So Kanisha, you wanna go on ahead?
Yes, so our first department we're gonna be talking about is drumroll physics. So thank you for that. Yeah, the physics department at UTSC is great. And we have, I believe, two professors from our department tonight with us. And the first professor is um, Professor Bayer. So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Professor Bayer, and I have been teaching a number of courses over the years. As you can see in the list, it seems like pretty much every course that has been offered or in some form I have had a stab at it. And most first-year students would have actually seen a longer introduction of me about what I studied. So as it's written over here on the slide, I did first mathematics, then I went on to do physics, and then I came to Canada to do graduate studies and got an offer to form part of the teaching faculty at Scarborough, which I took after finishing my PhD in general relativity. and that's where I am right now. Right now, I'm teaching the second year thermal physics course. And in this past fall, I taught the first half of first year physics for physical sciences. So that would be A10, and then also the interquantum course. So hi, everyone in physics.
Thank you. And I'm sure, and I think there's quite a few students who are in physics that joined us today, so yay. Our next professor, I don't think he's here yet, but Professor Julian Lauman, and he's currently teaching Introduction to Global Geophysics and the second part of Physics for the Physical Sciences, Physics 21. And his research topics include mantle convection and its manifestation as surface mobility on terrestrial exoplanets. And he has supervised 6 completed PhDs in geodynamics and some number of masters, and has supervised 30 undergraduate research, and is also the vice president of the Canadian Geophysical Union. And I'm pretty sure he'll be joining us pretty soon, but yeah, that's a bit about him. So next up, we have the chemistry department, which is a great department again at UTSC. And our first professor will be Professor Alex Vosny. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, so my name is Alex. I'm a new faculty here at UTSC. I stopped counting, is it second or third year, somewhere in the beginning. So I'm actually a physicist by background and computational, but now we have an experimental lab. I'm teaching A11 and B21. So if you like A11, come back to me for B21. It's quantum mechanics, should be very fun. And yeah, and research, I guess we're gonna talk later about our research as well, but we're working anything related to clean energy. Right now we are focusing on batteries, but we also have a bunch of projects on catalysis and solar cells. We are interested in much more like carbon capture and hydrogen economy, but we're not there yet. It all depends on the equipment that we have, but basically our work is computational and experimental together, trying to mix it up and trying to use a lot of machine learning for predicting new materials that could be useful for clean energy.
Thank you so much, Professor Bosny. So next up in our chemistry department, we have our favorite first year professor, Professor Chavaraj. Would you like to please introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. It's great to join you all today. It's a snowy day, but we all managed to join on Zoom. So that's fantastic. Good to see all of you. So as many of you know, I'm a UTSC undergrad alumni. So I did my undergraduate here. So this is my home campus. I went on to do my PhD at St. George campus. Pretty much stuck to Toronto for all of my academic career, I could say, because my family is in Toronto. So I did my PhD at St. George and my postdoctorate at University Health Network for another 3 years. While I was there, I was interested in patent law as well. So I pursued my patent law, master's in patent law at Osgood Hall Law School. And then a couple of years ago, I wanted to pursue my master's in education because I wanted to know more about online teaching and pedagogy. So this is my academic background. My research background is during my doctoral years and postdoctoral years. I was focused on developing anti-cancer reagents. So my PhD was on synthetic and medicinal chemistry. My postdoctorate was in medicinal chemistry as well. And currently my passion is on pedagogical development. So I'm in teaching stream, so I do pedagogical research, developing, greening the chemistry curriculum, especially in organic chemistry and first year chemistry labs. What else can I say? Oh yeah, and I'm also very passionate about women in STEM leadership. So in January 2021, in collaboration with a conference group at Sick Kids, we launched this Women in STEM leadership program, which I play a role as convener of the program. And so good to see all of you. And that's all about me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. Next up, we have Professor Dalili, which I had the chance to take her one of her classes last semester. Would you like to introduce yourself, Professor?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Good to see you all here on Zoom. So yes, my name is Shadi Dalili. These are the courses that I've mostly taught. So second year organic chemistry. This semester, I'm also teaching the fourth year pharmaceutical chemistry. I do directed research with students in fourth year D90, D91. I've also taught the second year directed research course, PSCB90. So since most of you here are first year, going into your second year, those of you who are interested in research, I urge you to look up the PSCB90 course. You can get a lot of hands-on experience with research starting in second year, so that would be a good place to start. I also did most of my graduate training here in Toronto. So I did my master's and PhD at the downtown campus, specializing in synthetic organic chemistry. And then I did my postdoctoral research at Princess Margaret Hospital, working on synthesis of small molecule sensitizers for prostate cancer cell lines. I also do pedagogical classroom research. So with my students, kind of as my guinea pigs, I test out different methods of teaching with my students. Most recently, I've become quite interested in utilizing different sorts of technology for educational research. So with one of our graduate students, Marianne, we've developed an Archemy app that's available both on Apple and Android devices. And what you can do is you can visualize in 3D organic structures and molecules in augmented reality. And so if any of you have a chance to take B41 with me, we use that augmented reality tool for molecular modeling in the third lab, which is actually coming up right after reading week. So you can look forward to using that. And we recently published this research, and we're doing hopefully a follow-up paper soon on this technology. I am supervisor of the co-op program. So those of you who are interested in going into co-op, I am in charge of all the chemistry related co-op programs. So if you have any questions about courses, etc., you can definitely reach out to me. And so, yes, as you can see from the fun fact, I was just asked today about a fun fact, and I'm quite happy to hear that other people are also into puzzles. So during this time of COVID, with nowhere to go and nothing else to do, I took up the hobby of doing a large number piece puzzles. So I just finished a 1,000-piece puzzle, and it was a scene of all the most famous landmarks across the world. So I plan to put that up on my wall once I get the glue to stick it together and mount it. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, and happy to connect with you all here.
Thank you, Professor. So next up, we have Professor Hadsovic. I don't think he's here, so we're sorry for that, but I feel like to just save time, we're gonna skip over him. So next up, we're moving on to biology. Marcy, you wanna take over?
Before we actually go to biology, I noticed that Professor Lohman did join the session today. Professor Lohman, if you're there, we did do a brief introduction for you based on our slide. I don't know if it's too much to go back to that, but if there's anything else you wanted to add, please feel free to do so. Professor Lohman, if you are there.
I think you're muted, Professor. Yeah, he's talking right now.
I think you're muted, Professor.
Sorry.
Right, we can hear you now.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay. I was just saying I'm the supervisor of the environmental physics program. So for anybody who would like to get any information on that, you can send me an email. I'm happy to answer your questions. I heard a couple of other people gave their backgrounds in terms of their education. I was an undergraduate at the University of Toronto at Trinity College doing physics and mathematics. I then did a master's and PhD at York University in geodynamics. I was then an NSERC postdoc at Los Alamos National Lab in New Mexico. I was then a faculty member at the University of Leeds in England for 6 years. And I've done stints as an invited professor at the University of Nantes in France, the University of Munster in Germany, and Macquarie University in Australia, in Sydney. And I've been in the department for 16 years. And my main interests are computational fluid dynamics and studying the evolution of planetary interiors, in particular the Earth.
One thing that, thank you, Professor Lohman, for introducing yourself as well. One thing I found really interesting is I'm actually taking an environmental science course right now. And I kept hearing your name pop up because he always uses, like, my prof always uses pictures or things from, I think, your research. I found it really interesting because I always thought you were just a physicist, but then realizing now that there is like a kind of collaboration between geoscience and physicists as well.
Well, that's right. I mean, there is a lot of physics in environmental science. I mean, there's a lot of chemistry and everything else. It just depends what branch you're interested in. But
Yeah.
my interest, like I say, being in planetary evolution, the deep interior of planets, and you know, plate tectonics and all these things that affect sea level change are geophysics. You know, I'll give you a fun fact. That was one of the things that I heard other people talking about, but it's going to be a fun fact about science. So here's the thing. If Greenland melts, if all the ice on Greenland melts, sea level in Labrador will go down, not up. But sea level in New Zealand will go up. And the reason for that is because the gravitational pull of all of the ice on Greenland is actually greater. And it's a big source of mass that's above sea level. So it actually pulls the level of the water up higher on coasts like Labrador and Iceland and Newfoundland and all the places that are close to Greenland. And if you dumped all that water from all of that ice into the ocean, it would actually, because the ice is gone, sea level would go down around the northern Atlantic, but it would go up in the southern Pacific from all the extra water being thrown into the ocean. So that's my fun fact, a science one.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
Yeah, I never would have thought about that. I always think of everything as so even, which just tells you that I'm a first year and I have a lot to learn still. Excited to do so in the next couple of years. For biology, though, from the biology department, we do have two professors joining us today. Professor Brown, if you'd like to go and introduce yourself.
Sure. So, yeah, I've been here at UTSC in the biology department for the past 6.5 years. As it says here on the slide, came here from originally Wilfrid Laurier University, is where I did my undergrad. And fun fact, Wilfrid Laurier's name is spelled with an I, not an E. Very common mistake that people make, including on the slide there. You have to go to Wilfrid Laurier for 4 years before you finally learn that that's how it's spelled. But anyways, went from there to the University of Western Ontario and did my master's, PhD, and a postdoc there. So I was in the same lab there for about 8 years studying hibernating ground squirrels. And then after that, as it says, I pretty much just traveled around Ontario teaching in all kinds of different institutions, wherever a job was to be had. So put a lot of miles in my car, driving from, Oshawa, Barrie, Toronto, wherever they needed me to teach. Came here, as it says, in 2013, came here, kind of slid in the back door as a sessional lecturer. So I was just hired to teach one course. And I was very fortunate that there was no interview process, because I've never ever gotten a job that I had to interview for my entire life. So I was quite happy that there was no interview for this position, and then kind of transitioned from that into being here part-time. I'm in the teaching stream, so I teach a lot of different courses, but I also do a little bit of research, supervising some undergrad research projects, and we do research on plant aging. So there's a greenhouse on top of the science wing And so we grow mostly flax plants up there. And yeah, we try to study how it is that perennial plants can live so much longer than annual plants, and trying to see if some of the factors that are known to cause aging in animals might also be applicable to plants. And yeah, then I guess it talks there. I mean, talks there a little bit about my summertime hobby is to umpire baseball. So I'm hoping that COVID will allow us to do that this year. We didn't get to. I think I umpired only 3 games last year. An avid hiker, as it mentions. Actually, we just went for a hike yesterday, a 20K hike down to see the first ever fish hatchery in Ontario, which is in Mount Pleasant, which is sort of more towards like Brantford and sort of west. And I guess my fun fact will be that although I've been here at UTSC for 7 years, I've never actually moved to Toronto. So I still live in London and commute back and forth down the highway whenever I need to come onto campus. So yeah, my car is getting a lot of rest now, which it's good because it was getting a lot of work before. So there you go.
I think your car is probably thanking you for that. A little bit of rest after everything.
It is very much, yes.
And next from the biology department, we have Professor Sturge.
All right, so hi. I actually grew up in Mississauga, and I started doing ecology-based field work as an undergrad. So I was acting as like a plant field assistant. And that led to doing my master's. Oh, I should say I did my undergrad at the St. George campus. That led to a master's in population ecology, kind of looking at habitat loss and its impacts, also at the St. George campus. And while I was presenting that research at an ecology conference, actually a bird conference, I met my PhD advisor who studied speciation in orioles. And so I ended up moving to Maryland, and I spent 9 years in Maryland. I completed my PhD, and similar to Dr. Brown, I started acting as what they call an adjunct professor, but in Canada would be a sessional instructor. So I was teaching, actually started teaching before I finished my PhD. So I was kind of doing that in the summers. And then I did sessional instruction for about 1.5 years and landed a postdoctoral fellowship at Cornell University, which is supposed to last 2 years, but it only lasted 1 year because I actually got hired by UTSC to fulfill a teaching stream assistant professorship. And I'm actually really jealous that he didn't have to interview, because if you're not familiar with academic interviews, they last 2 full days. Basically at a minimum. So I had interviewed quite a bit, and that's because you basically meet almost everyone in the department. And usually you have to give more than 1 talk as well. So it's pretty stressful, and you have to kind of be on the ball. And I'm talking about like someone picks you up at a hotel at 8 in the morning. If you're lucky, it's that late. And then you get dropped back off at the hotel at maybe 7 or 8 at night. So it's like full days so just keep that in mind. It's worth it, but it is quite stressful. I didn't really mention anything about teaching. I am teaching streams. So in the biology department, I teach everything from 1st year to 4th year. I'm also the program supervisor for the biology major. So if you're interested in pairing a biology major with something like else, I would be your program supervisor. And also a program specialist, integrative bio and biology. I'm an avid runner. I actually started doing that to keep myself sane during grad school, and I just finished my first marathon virtually. I mean, I was running it physically, but I was running it in my neighborhood, and it was the Scotiabank Marathon. I should say I ran it because I'm not very fast. I'm quite short. So that's me. And yes, you can be my cheerleaders.
Okay, so I think that is it for our slides. On behalf of all of us at EPSA, we would like to thank you guys for coming, and thank you to the profs for making time out of your busy schedules to come join us, and thank you to the students. I know reading week can be really hectic sometimes, so we want to thank you for making that time, and we hope this can be a time to just chill, relax, and yeah,